So this is the first video on solving linear equations, so let's solve this linear equation. First thing I'm going to do is just rewrite it. So I have 5x minus 4 times the quantity of x plus 7 equals 3x plus 3. So solving this equation means getting x all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So let's figure out how we can do that. Well, the first thing we want to look at is we have 4 multiplied by this quantity of x plus 7. So we're going to use the distributive law to multiply the 4 through the parentheses. So we'll do 4 times x and then 4 times 7. And once we do that, we'll have 5x minus 4 times x will give us, negative 4 times x will give us negative 4x. And then negative 4 times a positive 7 will give us negative 28. And then on the right hand side, we'll just have that's equal to 3x plus 3. And now we're trying to get x all by itself on one side. So let's combine what we have on the left. We have 5x's minus 4x's, which will just leave 1x minus 28 equals 3x plus 3. Now I would like to get this 3x on the right hand side and move it over, so to speak, to the left hand side. And the way we'll do that is by subtracting 3x from both sides. If I subtract 3x over here, it's going to vanish. But whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other side. So we'll have x minus 28 minus 3x equals 3x plus 3 minus 3x. So what happens now? Well, 3x minus 3x will cancel out and just leave the 3. And on the other side, I have an x and a minus 3x, which will combine together to give us negative 2x minus 28. Now I want to get rid of the 28 on the left hand side, so I'll add, I want to get rid of the negative 28, so I'll add 28 to both sides. Over on the right, all that's left from the previous work is a 3 plus 28. So that's going to combine together to give us, well, let's see. The negative 28 and the 28 are going to cancel each other out and just leave 0. So on the left-hand side, we'll have negative 2x equals 3 plus 28. That's going to be 31. So we're almost finished. To get the x by itself, we'll just have to divide both sides by negative 2. And the negative 2 and the negative 2 will divide out to give 1. So all that's going to be left is x equals negative 31 over 2. So now we're not finished, because remember, it is always important to check your answer. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to check the answer to make sure that we didn't make any mistakes or anything like that. So to check the answer, we're going to need some more room. So let's take this and move it all up to the side. And let's see what we have to work with. So remember how to check your answer. You plug your proposed solution into your original equation. So we think that the solution is x equals negative 31 over 2. And we're going to plug that into the original equation and see what we get. So we'll have 5 times negative 31 over 2 minus 4 times negative 31 over 2 plus 7 equals 3 times negative 31 over 2 plus 3. All right, so let's start simplifying this. All right, so on this far left-hand side, I have 5 times negative 31 over 2. Well, remember, 5 is the same thing as 5 over 1, and multiplying fractions means you multiply the numerators and the denominators. So that's just going to give us 5 times negative 31, which is negative 155 over 2, minus 4 times, on the inside here I need to get a common denominator between negative 31 over 2 and 7, where 7 is the same thing as 7 over 1, so the least common denominator would be 2, which is going to give us negative 31 over 2 plus 14 over 2 equals 3 times negative 31 over 2 is going to give us a negative 93 over 2. And I'm going to go ahead and get a common denominator between the negative 93 over 2 and this 3. Well, the least common denominator would be a 2. So that's going to be plus 6 over 2. All right, moving on. We have negative 155 over 2 minus 4 times the quantity of, so in the inside there I have negative 31 halves plus 14 halves. That's going to add up to give negative 17 halves equals negative 93 over 2 plus 6 over 2 is going to give us negative 87 over 2. So look, we have a goal. If it's true that negative 31 halves is the solution, then since this right-hand side is negative 87 halves, this left-hand side should too. Well, and it is, so just a little bit more work. Negative 155 over 2 minus, actually it's going to be a plus because this is a negative 4 times a negative 17. That's going to give us, what is that? 68 over 2. And you can check on your calculator that does add up. This negative 155 over 2 plus 68 over 2 does add up to negative 87 over 2. So I'm going to put a great big check mark in green, because green's my favorite color. That makes me happy that we got the right answer. It did check out. So we finally got the answer. Whenever you're told to check your answer, this is the process you go through. You take your proposed solution, what you think the answer is. In this case, we thought it was negative 31 over 2, and you plug it into your original equation and make sure you get a true statement. That's how you check your answer.